Hey friends, it's Jess from Stark Skincare. Okay, I'm gonna start this off by showing you something really funny about my lipstick. As you can see, I sort of have like 60s Florida mom lipstick going on. It's an Ilia color. I really like it because I feel like it's on brand with my logo because it's kind of like a corally red. Although it probably looks a little bit lighter in this light because I'm facing the window. But look at the color. It's called Voila. It's a bit old, so it's a little bit beat up. Get in focus. Okay, but do you see how that's like a blue red on the packaging? And this is what it looks like. It's kind of like totally misleading, right? Anyways, I just kind of find that funny, but I do like the color. It's Voila by Ilia. I don't know if I just said that. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about a subject that I find really important, and therefore I'm having that like hesitation to talk about it because I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna leave out information and no one will ever forgive me for that. So, but anyways, I feel that's just so silly because if I put off talking about it, then I'll never talk about the subject. So I might as well just go for it and leave out 47% of the relevant information that I should probably actually talk about. Which is the one thing about video versus writing that I find is starting to get to me, is because I know that if I'm writing a blog post, I'm going to be far more thorough and probably more succinct than I am in video, where I'm just kind of like chatting, but I guess it's just a different medium, right? So anyways, we don't aim for perfection here, as you know. So when you're a skincare expert, people often ask you about what to do for their skin type. And everyone seems to be very hung up on skin types. And after a couple of years of, working with skin, working in skincare and formulating, I started to just feel like there was just something off about the whole notion of skin types. And so I decided to just drop that philosophy completely. Like the philosophy that there's dry skin versus oily skin versus acne prone or whatever. And I know that that's kind of controversial maybe, or just a little bit strange, because if you're experiencing dry skin, you're like, okay, I don't have the same skin as like, my friend who's got oily skin. Like, it's just not the same skin type. Which, true, you are experiencing something different with your skin, but you're not born, with A, B, or C skin. You're not born an oily baby. You're not born a dry baby. I mean, all babies are kind of wrinkly and dehydrated when they're born, and beautiful. But, I really believe that skin types constantly evolve and change over a person's lifetime. And if you label yourself one type of skin, then I think you're doing yourself a huge disservice, because you're just not going to be treating your skin properly. Whenever I was in my late teens and 20s, I had acne. Not super severe acne, but I would have like maybe between like 5 and 15 pimples at any time on my face. I even have a tiny little bit of scarring left over because just my skin tone, like my coloration, I've sort of got that Mediterranean olive skin color, so I really, really, really scar. And so for a long time I thought that I really believed that I had acne prone skin. So what do we do as teenagers and when in our silly early 20s, whenever we have acne, is we try to dry out our skin. So, and I've got a lot of customers and clients who also are always looking for, solutions to dry out their skin, which is so harmful, because all skin is trying to do is react with its reality, right? That skin is an organ. And so, if our liver like we don't get to see the inflammation of our liver. We eventually get to, experience an inflamed liver one way or another. Maybe, some sort of condition arises, or maybe it's like a later stage disease. But the beauty about skin is that we get to see what's going on right away. So whenever there is some inflammation, whenever there is an imbalance and something's going on, it's very obvious. Like maybe we'll develop some acne, maybe it's psoriasis or eczema, but it is something that you get to see, and then you get to then react to. But unfortunately, what happens is we quite often look at band-aid solutions. So if we're experiencing acne, what we look to do is, dry it up, just shrink those pimples without really thinking about what the root cause of the acne is, right? So that's one thing is, just having a very reactionary approach to our skincare, but then also just the way that we categorize our skin. It's just kind of like our brains are very lazy and they're always looking for shortcuts, right? So instead of being like, oh, this is what I'm experiencing today, now let me look at, what happened yesterday, where's my emotional state at, how was I eating in the past week, hormonally what's going on with me, like where am I in my cycle, or where am I in my life cycle, to try to look for clues as to what's going on with our skin. So instead of doing that, we react. And, if you think about if you had an approach like that to relationships, you wouldn't really get anywhere, right? So if it was like every time that a problem arose, you just reacted, that, you're just having a very reactionary approach to, let's say, a romantic relationship, it's not going to be very healthy. You have to go to the root cause of why are you having those fights? Why are these issues constantly coming up? If it were something constantly happening, with your digestion, for example, you wouldn't just be like, I'm just thinking of the grossest examples, but you wouldn't just be like, oh, well, time to, change toilet paper type or something like that. You'd be like, oh my God, what am I eating? What's going on, from point A, what am I putting into my mouth? What kind of, a lot of bird activity going on outside today. What's happening with me emotionally? Am I developing some sort of a new sensitivity to food? Am I stress eating? Am I eating my feelings? What's going on? So I guess because skin is just, it's a cosmetic, it's an aesthetic thing. We look at covering up. We, it's a culture where we wear makeup, where we just covering stuff up it's not a bad thing. We don't see it as being a bad thing. But it also, I think, just sort of provides a shortcut where we don't just sort of look at issues in a more holistic approach. So that's why I don't believe that people have skin types. But I also say that, to be a little bit controversial, because I want people to be like, well, yeah, I do. I've got a skin type, but then to rethink that, because as I mentioned, I used to have acne. I don't have acne anymore. I actually have, my skin's been in really good condition for quite a few years now. And I'm just in a preventative approach at this point in my life where I'm in my mid-30s and I want my skin to keep looking youthful. And so, I just keep up with a simple and good routine that works for me. Once in a while, throwing in a little treatment, lots of face massage, lots of water, trying to have one good nutrition, please. But failing because I love sugar, which is the worst thing you can possibly put in your body for your skin. But yeah, so I think it's really important to have this relationship with your skin where you can constantly evaluate and not just think of the skin that you had 20 years ago and to be still treating it in the same way. If I were still treating my skin like I had acne, I would have incredibly dehydrated dried out, flaky skin at this point. So it's really important to constantly be reevaluating where your skin's at and what it needs, and not just think, oh, I have acne, it's clear now, but I have acne, and as soon as I drop using like products that dry out my skin, then I'm going to go straight back to having acne. So you know, that's why like the way I formulate my skincare is to be reacting more to the environment. So part of my philosophy is that, you know, like our skin types, yes, it comes from the inside. So, you know, what we put into our body does end up showing up on our skin in terms of like diet and emotions and stress levels and hormones. Not that you put hormones in, well, yeah, well, anyways, hormones and that kind of thing, but also the environment. So my skincare is formulated to undo what the environment does to our skin. So having a really, really good barrier defense in your skin is one of the best things that you can do. So that means not overstripping your skin, not drying it out, not using super harsh cleansers or super harsh anything really, just doing like being really gentle but effective. One of the maxims in formulating is never to use to always use enough of X ingredient but never too much. And so that's kind of like the way that I make all my skincare, is that it's always active enough and never too much. So you couldn't really overdo it with Stark. I mean, if you just like washed your face with Eclipse like 6 times in a row and then sprayed it with Petrichor and then just like didn't moisturize afterwards, like, yeah, it might feel a little bit raw after that, especially if like you use like a face cloth or something. But generally speaking, like just keeping it really, really gentle with your skin so that you can really see what the state, like how healthy, what the state of your skin truly, truly looks like. Otherwise, you're not getting a very good sense of what's going on. If you're using acids and retinols and, you know, your AHAs and BHAs like every single night, and you're just kind of switching it up, constantly just doing all this stuff, doing like a what do you call it, like a like a K-beauty, Korean beauty style routine where, you know, they like there's one thing that was trending recently, it was like the 7 toner method or something like that, where you're putting like 7, I don't know if it's 7 different toners or 7 layers of toner. Like that's so excessive. And if your skin reacts to that, you're not going to be like, oh look, now I've got acne and that's my skin type, better dry it out. You know, it's like it's clearly coming from something you're doing to it, right? So it really is best to just always maintain this like open dialogue with your skin. And so something that I've been saying for many years now is to listen to your skin. So to listen to your skin, you got to treat it gently, and you got to be listening. You know, you can't just be talking at it, i.e. like throwing a bunch of stuff on it. You have to have those days where you're doing a skin reset, where you can really examine it and see what kind of state it's in. You need to be touching your skin. You need to be doing facial massage and getting to know your skin. So however your skin was when you were 18 or that it was 10 years ago, it's going to be very different, and it's important to get back in touch with it and to reconnect and see what it might be needing at this time. And I know that maybe many of you might not be as like obsessed with like skincare and skincare ingredients as I may be, and some of you might be. So it's kind of tapping into that intuitive side of having that conversation with your skin might be a little bit awkward and weird at first, but I feel like, you know, if your skin's very rough, if it's dehydrated, like you will be able to see that, and then you will start being able to do a little bit of your own research and asking questions to people who know as to like what kind of products and ingredients that your skin could be using. I'm going to take like a little break, which you're not going to notice, and then I'll just get into a few of the things that do create a skin type. Hey guys, I'm back. I had to hydrate a little bit, and my throat's been a little bit scratchy lately, so I kind of need to take breaks from talking. So I talked about how I don't believe in skin types. So what does create havoc in your skin are 3 factors that are pretty hard to avoid in this modern day and age, but not without hope. So the 3 things are basically glycation, oxidation, and inflammation. So glycation is essentially it's like the sugar content of your skin, and so that's both what you're taking in internally, but then it's also it's like a reaction that your skin has. So what happens with glycation is something called advanced glycation end product, and the acronym there is AGE, which is AGE, which is very ironic and kind of horrible. What it basically does is it attacks collagen and elastin molecules, which is no good. So, like I said, it's it's like a dietary thing. So of course it's the glucose, it's the glycate that you're absorbing, that you're taking in, but then it's also your body's response to cortisol and the other one, adrenaline. So it's not just what you're eating, it's also how your body is reacting to life and how sugar is really not helpful. Anyways, there's many books about what sugar does to you, and I don't really fully understand it. And, you know, stress is a very difficult and loaded topic. And also that I don't really understand from a medical standpoint all the things that it's doing, but rest assured that it's a lot. And it affects your hormones, which just in terms of skin, that's everything. Like that just affects everything. So, my computer's doing something weird. So anyways, that's the first thing, glycation. Second is oxidation, and oxidation is mostly an external, environmental, sort of phenomenon, but, it is free radicals. So it is, unstable oxygen molecules that are doing some weird shit and basically working counterproductively, trying to attach their molecules onto these other unstable molecules floating around your body. From a science standpoint, I don't totally get it. You know, there's a lot of material out there that could explain it far better than me. But what it does end up doing is damaging your cells, which we know is not ideal. Third thing is inflammation. So inflammation, in a sense, is good. It's a way of your body. It's like a defense mechanism for your body to fight off bacteria, to fight off different pathogens. However, it can also turn against itself and create all different kinds of autoimmune diseases. And a lot of skin conditions, as I've mentioned before, do come from an inflammatory response to something going on internally. So those are 3, they're pretty complicated, big things happening inside your cells, inside your body, where essentially your body's kind of turning against itself and reacting to modern day stressors. So just the fact that people are extremely stressed out for no reason and without having healthy ways of dealing with it. We have stress and fear to, run away from saber-toothed tigers, but, I haven't seen a saber-toothed tiger in a while personally. And, we're sort of, the fight or flight response is very well designed, because whenever we are frightened by something, we do actually need to have that physical outburst to run, to punch something, whatever. But that's actually like a very healthy, like in terms of like how your body functions response, maybe not in sort of like a social way. It's not necessarily the healthiest response, but for your body, you do need to like get out those hormones through physical exercise as some sort of like, getting it out. And if you don't, what happens is, your body is kind of turning on itself. And then we also have our environment, which isn't very well designed for humans. There's just a lot of pollution. There's stronger UV than what our bodies are designed for, and it's extremely hard on our poor cells that are, they haven't really evolved and adapted as quickly as, the world has been changing. So to counteract these things, there's really just a few areas in your life to look at. It's sleep, environment, stress, diet, and exercise. And notice I didn't say anything about skincare there, because it's really not the most important part of dealing with a skin type or a skin condition. It's all of those things, because your skin type is simply a reaction to something that's going on. Oily skin is a healthy response. Dry skin is a healthy response. It's just a response. But if it's going overboard, and really causing some effects that you're not happy with, and that's what we have to be looking at. So skincare is a very holistic endeavor. And so sleep, environment, stress, diet, and exercise all affect your hormones. They're all going to affect how you process cortisol and adrenaline, how you process glycation and inflammation. So those are the areas that we really that are really important. So good sleep hygiene, which I should probably just do a video on, super important. But the basics is just make sure you can sleep at night. And I know if you've got a small child, if you have a baby, that's pretty much impossible, but rest assured, sleep will come again. I just started sleeping. My son is 4 and we're finally sleeping through the night, and it's amazing. It's the best. In terms of environment, I mean, it's hard living in the city, right? Like there's pollution, but try to spend as much time as you can in parks. Have lots of houseplants at home. That really works to detoxify your environment. And, that's this is how I formulated Stark, was specifically to counteract which we call oxidation, free radicals, and just different environmental issues that we have, and for your skin to become better at adapting to the environment and just the different stressors that we are faced, and to boost collagen production, elastin production, and just to help its skin do its own thing properly. So Stark's not really changing your environment, but it could eventually help your skin to adapt better. And it's loaded with antioxidants, which I think is just one of the most important things we can do for our skin, because, oxidation is so important in terms of destroying your skin. So just doing all that we can. All that I can do for you is just give you things that are healthy topically. So it's your responsibility, of course, to have a diet that's high in antioxidants, low in the glycemic index, and getting your sleep. And stress is another one that's a really big thing to tackle in daily life. I'm someone with anxiety. I don't handle stress very well, so it's like a daily practice to try to mitigate that. So I've been back on the meditation wagon. Meditation is just so helpful. I'm just using this app called Headspace, and it's these 10-minute little things, and I'm probably gonna go with the pro version, because I'm thinking it's really good. But it's just daily 10 minutes. It's like a guided meditation. It's super easy. It's not all woo it's really relaxing. Actually, I fell asleep yesterday meditating, which is kind of not the point, but anyways, because I'm getting my sleep and my stress management. It's like a 2-for-1. And then there is, of course, diet, as I'd mentioned. I do have some blog posts about really the top foods to be eating just for your skin, and it's always just stuff that's basically really high in antioxidants. So really colorful fruits and vegetables, basically, and different herbs and spices. Like, just to make it simple, like that's just basically it. Like, good herbs and spices, lots of fruits and veggies that are all different colors. It's easy, you know, it can be really easy. And then, of course, there's exercise. I just got this Fitbit because I had realized how incredibly sedentary I had become. And of course, I was just looking at it from like the weight perspective, like, oh, I gained these 20 pounds and I can't get them off. But it's like, I realize that I'm not moving. Like, I stand to work, so I'm kind of like thinking, being all smug, like that's enough. But with tracking my steps, I'm realizing that my goal is like I'm lowballing it with 8,000 steps a day. It should be 10,000. Past 2 days, I haven't done 5,000 each day, or I just did 5,000 each day. So like, I'm not moving nearly enough. And I'm someone who used to walk everywhere in the city. Now I'm in the suburbs, so I kind of walk less. It's like I have to be more intentional to walk. So I have to like, you know, go on a hike to walk. Whereas before I'd just be like, oh, I'm just going to go to this boutique, go to this shop, go check out this. I have to go run this errand. And then I'd end up walking for an hour, and then I'd get all, you know, like I didn't have to count my steps because I was just moving all the time and like carrying my giant son around because he was a huge baby. But yeah, so anyways, like exercise, it's great if you can just build it into your day-to-day life. I really miss that now that I have a car and just like my lifestyle has changed. I have to be more intentional. So I personally, I'm struggling with that right now. But all of these things, again, sleep, environment, stress, diet, and exercise, they all affect your hormones, and your hormones are going to be what helps you deal with the cortisol, what helps you deal with the stress, how your skin or how your cells are going to deal with oxidation, how your cells are going to be dealing with response to inflammation. So because we can't really control, you know, our hormones, all we can do is control what we can control, right? So trying to get enough sleep, counteracting what the environment does to our skin, mitigating stress as best as we can, eating healthy, and just trying to exercise as much as we can. No, maybe not as much as we can, because I know for me that'd be a good thing, but then I know there's other people who can go overboard with that. So just, you know, pushing yourself enough, never too much, and just having an awareness of what your skin's trying to tell you, and you know, looking at this, like going back into where a certain, you know, reaction has come from, and not to be reacting to it, right? To see it as a little gift, you know, the little gift of some pimples, a little gift of some dry skin. You know, maybe you're lacking omegas, maybe, you know, you're super stressed out about like your work situation, but it's all good. Like, you just have to, you know, see it as communication with your skin. If you listen, it's going to talk to you. So I challenge you to have a conversation with your face. Okay, so I'm done having this conversation with my face right now. Leave me some comments, please subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye.